Yeah. Okay. So hi guys. So we'll be doing a film analysis or discussion about Aaranya Kaandam this time. Since there are only three of us, I guess that will be proportionate to the number of people who watched Aaranya Kaandam when it was in theaters. It will be more like an open forum this time. Yeah, I will try to make it fun. It's a fun movie, and yeah, I guess Ashwin or Anish could like give it an intro, and then we can move forward as we do always.
Okay. Okay. So to start off, the basic, like the plot is pretty basic. It is a story about two rival gangs who are operating in the same city, and like it happens always, they have competition, right? To see who's superior. So there is a hierarchy in each of the gangs. Like there is a boss, and then there are his assistants, and then there are these chamchas who do all the work. So the plot revolves around drugs, right? So one of the two gangs, um, is in plans to purchase a specific amount of drugs from somebody, and the other gang comes to know, and they plan to steal it or try to buy it off and make a profit out of it. And yeah, that's it. That's what basically the whole story is about, the bag of drugs. And there are quite a few other characters too, apart from the main gang members. Mm, and I think like there is it ends well. It ends well. There is a lot of anti-climax in the end. It
Hmm.
is There's a lot of suspense. So all in all, I think it's a great movie, despite it not
Okay.
having clicked in the box office, which I don't know why, but yes.
Yeah, so I think this is a kind of movie that's like it's not a firecracker. It's more like a slow burner. It's slowly picked
Hmm.
up, and it's now a classic movie. It's like really good, and you can clearly see where he's taken inspiration from. So you have all the classic, the film noir. He's done the whole thing, so you can make out he's got inspiration from there. The whole to Tarantino vibe
Hmm.
and everything, and even that one scene where he goes and looks at the money in the boot of the trunk. That's exactly from Goodfellas. The whole boot scene looking down into the, yeah, precisely.
Hmm.
So that's exactly from Goodfellas.
Hmm.
So you can make out that this is the tribute film. It's
Hmm.
to a lot of the classic directors of the West, and like it is Godfather-esque, but not really, because Godfather was more like a long story about how one became
Hmm.
a mob lord, but it's more like a short from the day in the life of a gangster in Madras, and that's
Hmm.
what we have here. So I thought it's really cool. It was a movie of a lot of circumstance. It
Hmm.
wasn't very like nothing happened because it was all well planned, except when you get to the end. But it's more like like the hand of fate is dealing you cards, and you just get what you take and make the best out of it. So yeah, I loved the movie.
Yeah.
It was very really cool, and it was a lot of moments that made you think of, oh yeah, this seems like that movie, and this seems like that movie.
Yeah.
It was, I really liked the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. So we usually don't do this, right? But since there are limited number of members and maybe the other members watch this video before watching this movie, spoiler alert, like so, like please don't watch the video if you haven't watched the movie yet. And yeah, like Ashwin said, lot of Tarantino you can see in the movie. Like this is like a trunk shot which Tarantino just loves. In I think 3 out of the 9 movies which is directed, you have trunk shots. Yeah, that's there. But before we go into more detail about the movie itself, I I would like to take your thoughts on the marketing of the film. Though it bombed in the box office, I felt that this movie made a good precedent for marketing. Like for instance, see the poster, the first look poster which they created. Like most of the fans of the film who actually watched it in the theaters, they said that when this came in the newspaper, they were like, "Oh, something like a graphic novel, like something similar to that is on poster. So this might be pretty interesting." And even the trailer was pretty, unique. So your thoughts on that? Yeah, anybody? Hmm.
Yeah, so one thing about the posters, a little while ago I shared multiple posters on thing, but it is like this particular poster is like Akira. It's exactly like the poster of Akiva from the graphic novel. Like that, the particular scene where he's lying there and he's pulling him away from the bike. I found that very similar. And even the yellow and black, the yellow and black color scheme is exactly like with the Watchmen comic. If you have this thing, so the cover theme is the yellow and black with that smiley, and also it is very reminiscent. So, like I said, it's a very tribute film. So he's probably like a big fanboy, and he loved pop culture and everything, and just threw in as much as he could to make it awesome. So
Super. Yeah, correct. So
I mean,
Anish,
though
you
it
were trying to
tanked,
say
it did tank. Like all of us keep talking about how it did tank, like in the box office, and like it picked up 7, 8, 10 years ago, and people are still watching. But for me, one of the main reasons it tanked was it deviated from the conventional South films that people were used to a decade ago, right? It didn't have that unnecessary, music and a lot of drama to it, and like it didn't have those. It had fight scenes, but they were raw, right? It didn't have those puffed up fight scenes that people are typically
the
used
classic
to.
dodging the bullet in midair and the
Yeah,
it was
another slow mo
wasn't
scenes
very,
in which the actor watches the bullet go by his face. So this was very raw. It was natural. It was realistic, and it laid more emphasis on the storyline, the camera angles. So for a genuine movie fan, I mean, it is a great piece. But for somebody who goes into a movie for the entertainment and the drama, well, maybe that's why I didn't click.
I don't even think so. I think people didn't even give it a chance, because when I watched the movie, I loved it start to end. Every scene was entertaining, and I didn't even feel like getting up and moving from my place. It kept me captivated from start to end, every scene. So I think people just didn't give it a chance because it was not your typical Tamil cinema. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, might be true, but here's the thing. Okay, it might be a biased opinion or whatnot, but since I am a regular watcher of Tamil films, it's not that this is not in the mainstream, but not all South films are like dodging the bullet and just want to clarify that before typecasting any industry. Like you had Nayakan and all those other Abhay and stuff like that, which was in that stream. But here again, this is a new director, right? So nobody knew about, okay, there is Thiagaraja, Kumararaja, because plus he doesn't he actually tried out to be like an assistant director in a film, and he didn't like the experience at all. So then he had no experience in the industry at all. Maybe he did a few ads or something, but other than that, there is no there's no what to say. Okay, oh, Thiagaraja Kumararaja, I've heard it somewhere. So maybe because of that, that's why maybe it tanked. It's quite possible. And like Ashwin said, this is not like a Godfather. Like it's literally written in the poster. It's a page out of the life of a gangster. It's just like a one-day thing. It's not like how from a small like how Vito Corleone becomes from a small immigrant to a dawn of the street. It's not about an origin story or something.
Right film. Oh, Shvishka?
Anish?
No, yeah, I think it's cool.
Okay, yeah. Oh, Shvish is back.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was like, Shvish said it's a very tight film, and that's correct, because there were no loose ends. There weren't anything, at least for me, there wasn't any moment which I had to think, oh, why did this happen? It was all well tied up, well rounded, and I loved the thing. And also I like that it wasn't focused on one person. It wasn't like it's a story of Pashupati or something. It was like there are 6 main characters in this film. All of them are main characters. So it wasn't like one superhero or one superstar in the film. Like, it wasn't that Jackie Schwab was the superstar. He might have been a superstar actor, but in the film he was as equal to all the other 6. So the other 5 of them. So yeah.
Okay, so since we are done with the intro kind of deal, so I'll ask you one important question. Why do you think the movie is called Aaranya Kaandam? So I'll tell you the translation. It means jungle chapter.
Yeah. So this is the reference to Ramayana, right? The chapter in Ramayana, right?
Yeah, but
so
I mean, how do you see the parallel?
everybody's fighting for power, right? Everybody wants to end up on being the king of the jungle. So it's just the struggle of power that's being depicted in the movie.
Yeah, I agree with Anish. It's more like it's like a dog eat dog situation. You know, there is no even though there is a structural hierarchy, it's survival of the fittest. Like, so whoever can take advantage of the situation and the cards he's dealt is the winner in this situation. So like winner chicken dinner in the end. Whoever played their cards right won. So
So it's like I'll tell you one more fact. Maybe since you don't know the like translation and stuff. So Pasupati, the name derives from the Pasu means cow in Tamil. Singa Perumal means lion king. So Sappa means blank, so that's different. Subbu is different again. But most of these characters have animal names. Like Gajendra is an elephant, right? So maybe that's the connection he's going for, or maybe he's saying that Madras is a what you say a concrete jungle in the sense. Maybe he's trying to depict that. I also learned of one more theory saying that it's like Kasturi, that is Pasupati's wife, was kidnapped by Singa Perumal, right? So maybe that's the connection.
Oh, like Ramayana again.
Yeah.
We have another participant.
Yeah.
Hello,
Diksha, hi.
Welcome.
Hi, please continue.
Yeah, so we're just talking about why the movie is called like Aaranya Kaandam. We said that it meant like jungle chapter, and she was explaining how the names of the characters are all tied into to animals and everything. So yeah.
Okay, so since we are done with that, I guess unless Diksha wants to say something about it, about how no. Okay, so this quote. So what is correct, what is dharma, and what is necessary is dharma. So your thoughts. I guess this is like tells you the whole thing about the movie, right? It's in the end of the movie, it's in the start of the movie. It's like a full summary of the whole thing.
I mean, Ashwin spoke about it earlier, right? Even in Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says is what is right and what is wrong is always subjective. And even the title runs along those lines in which they say the jungle thing, right? So in the jungle there are no norms. Everybody's just fighting for their survival. So there's no right and wrong. Right and wrong is made by us humans. We have rules and we have stuff like that. But in the jungle, if you live to see another day, whatever you do is right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's again the same thing. Now it is ultimately, you make your own dharma. Nobody is going to judge you in the end, because if you win, you win. If you lose, you die.
Correct.
So it's basically that.
Yeah, classical neo-noir film. So apparently, the director, he picked this quote directly from a book called From Volga to Ganga, written by an Indian author, and it's supposed to be really good. So if any one of you guys want to pick it up and read, so even I am planning to do it. So yeah, shout out to even GMC book club.
Book club.
So most of you are there in it anyway. So okay. So I found this very cool, right? Yeah, Singa Perumal's face. Apparently, when Thiagaraja Kumararaja was young, he used to make this face to his mother. So,
wow.
So that's why he put this in, because it didn't make sense to me at first. Maybe he's trying to threaten him or something, but this is not a very threatening look, right? Like, it made me laugh at first. So,
no, but then also it's a very animal thing, the baring of the teeth. Like if a dog is angry or a wolf is angry, they just go. So I think it's again tying back to the whole animal theme, where you just bar your teeth to show your aggression.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, we talked about the trunk shot.
Yeah.
This again, some great dialogues. You say if you play a dog, keep barking, and plus I found the dialogue very efficient. Like none of the dialogues were just given like that. They had some meaning at the end of it. We'll talk about that more, obviously, because it's a very important part of the movie. Okay, I don't think most of you got this joke. That's why I just wanted to clarify, because obviously Tamil
Kamal.
and the translations are pretty good, but still, like so the driver is saying we are going to Pondicherry, right? And the policeman is saying blow and show. So it's like if you're drunk or not. So he says we haven't reached Pondicherry yet. So Pondicherry is like, again, stereotype. It's like the Goa of the East. So people usually go there for drinking and stuff.
Drinking.
So there's another. So yeah, we haven't reached Pondicherry yet, so don't already nag us. That kind of deal. Yeah, very important line. Again, super. Right? Does anybody want to talk about the dialogue before like we move on? Like dialogues in general of the movie.
Yeah, so none of them were like some very iconic dialogue that it's like you can say with spinning your hand and something that you can do in a pool. But it was very concise. It was every dialogue was important, and they had significant dialogue. It wasn't that the dialogue was time pass ke liye. Everything was, there was a nice reference, lots of metaphors everywhere. I thought it was really cool. And that was coming from me, who was only reading the subtitles, because I don't know Tamil.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that if for a Tamil speaker, it would be even better, because you'd get the tone, and you'd get the what the joke in Tamil, and obviously there's some things that don't literally translate all the time. So yeah.
Yeah.
More than just the words, right, of the dialogue. There's a lot of music play, and there's a lot of raw natural sounds that are there in the background in each of the scenes. So I mean, at least for me, I was not so familiar with Tamil, but you could sense the dialogues. It's not just like it's bland, just reading the subtitles at the bottom. So being his first film, I don't know if it was intentional, or maybe he just wanted it to be raw, but it helped amplify the dialogues of the movie.
In my opinion, I think it is very intentional, because whenever, again, I didn't get all the music, but a lot of the music was English and Hindi music, as cricket commentary in one scene and all. But that was all translated in the subtitles, and every one of those were actually describing and setting the scene. So the dogs barking, or the cricket match going on, and it was all set in the scene. Like the cricket match going on was like, okay, they're planning to go to Bombay, and cricket is this thing, and at least when I was reading the subtitles, they had translated the main chorus of all the songs playing, and it made sense. Like built the scene very well.
Correct. And did you get the Basha reference? Yeah, sorry, Diksha, you just Diksha, go on.
Right. So I also think that now that you guys said that the movie's title is about the jungle and stuff, I feel like I realized that a lot of dialogues and metaphors were always related to like animals or trees or something like that. So they made it very like obvious that they were speaking about like a jungle or wildlife and stuff. Like everything's like this, a lion does this, and a dog does this, and a wolf does this. So that was
Yeah. What I was saying is like, did you get the Basha reference? Have you heard of the movie Basha? Like any of you?
Is it the old Rajinikanth movie? Because they keep
it is Rajini, na?
Yeah, it is.
I haven't
Rajini.
watched it, but from the dialogue I garnered that it was like a plot twist wala movie where he is an actual Don, right?
Yeah, it's like that only. So he's like he's an auto rickshaw driver, and he's having a normal life, but in his past life he was a Don, and then he has to come back to his Don life to save the city and stuff like that. Classic Rajini, right? So that's the reference. If any of you
no Tamil movie is ever complete without a reference to Rajini, and they keep talking about Rajini and Kamal.
Yeah, correct.
No, I like that choice also. Are you a Rajini fan or a Kamal fan?
Kamal fan.
Yeah, totally. I felt like Kamal is nice, but still, it was a nice dialogue.
It's a great conversation starter.
Very great conversation starter. And I like how he introduced it also. He was like, I've used this to pick up so many women. He's like already, he knows this thing. But yeah.
Yeah, so anybody else wants to talk? We were talking about the songs, right? So there's this one scene in the beginning, right? When they are in the car, and in the background this song come, "Are you ready? Ready?" like that, right? So So it's just in the beginning of the movie. So it's like direct call out to the audience. Like, are you ready for the movie? Right? Get ready to, the ball is starting to roll now. So pretty cool, right? Like I've read a couple of pages of the screenplay just for this, and it was pretty cool how detailed he is about the the surroundings, the interior design, and pretty cool director. But Super Deluxe was again directed by him after a period of 7 years. Check that out also. Pretty good movie. Yeah, Diksha, you wanted to say something? No, no. Okay. So I want to show you this image, right? She's tying her hair. The pictures are in chronological order. So we will reach a particular scene and I'll tell you what was the payoff. At least what I thought was the payoff. So let's just go through the scene. Yeah. And what do you think about Kalayan and Kodka Police? I know that Diksha has pretty strong
Sorry,
feelings
I
about
have to start
Kalayan.
here. But oh my god, he's so annoying. So like, the whole time I was watching this movie, I'm just like, oh my god, just kidnap him and beat him up. I don't want him back in the movie. I can't deal with him. He's so annoying. And I'm just like, listen, your kid is so sensible. And his only role, I mean, obviously he's acted really well for me to feel like this. But his only role was just to be like, loser. First of all, he didn't do shit. He didn't even take care of that rooster. And then that rooster beat the other saying, like, you can't, you lost. They're like, oh my god, you killed my rooster. I'm just like, oh my god, how negative. And like, oh my god, I was so frustrated. I can't tell you. But like this guy's acted really well for all these emotions to come out. So I really appreciate it.
He was my favorite, evidently, but he was my favorite character in the full movie. I loved him the most. The way he acted, the personality, it was amazing. So even when they were drinking, he's like living in his own world. He's so detached from reality. He's so everything's gone. And then when the guy collapses, he's like, hey, he collapsed, and he's laughing away, and So he's a total bola bala fellow. He's not he's not opportunistic, he's not capitalistic, nothing. He opened his dukan, he gave away his goods. So he's not like, it wasn't like he lost it intentionally. He was just go and I'll do good for everybody and just, that way. And even when there are two of the biggest dons of Madras sitting in front of you, and you're taking that cock and dancing in front of him and mocking him, like you can feel he's so close to dying. He's so close to being killed. And then we slashed him, I thought, ye to gaya. But then no.
And I was really okay, I forgot my point, sorry.
Okay, yeah, when you remember it, you can. It's just an open forum.
Oh yeah, I remember. So he was like, he's so. Okay, interesting. Okay,
what?
So he was no, like I just saw that the meeting has unlimited minutes now, so. Yeah. Cool. So he was so like obsessed with the fact that, hey, you have no respect for me, I'm an aristocrat. It's like, even though, like, bro, look at you. You spent all your money on like alcohol. Like, what aristocrat you are. So like, he did this and he still does. Like, he doesn't know I'm an aristocrat. And I feel like that kind of does reflect in society also. It's because like if your caste is that and all, irrespective of how you are in real life, like even if you're like really poor.
But that still happens now, na? Yeah. Even you may be some duffer or something, but you might, if you're high caste, you're high caste.
Exactly. So, and that's like very evidently shown by this guy. He's like, I'm very Jewish and I don't do shit, but like, hey, I'm still an aristocrat. Like, so you should. Did he say Brahmin, or did he just say?
He just said he's just a landlord.
What was the Tamil word?
Zamin.
Yeah, what is Tamil word for that?
Zamin means it's like landlord, like Anish said. Zamin, so like wealthy family, feudal system kind of deal.
He also said he had a big haveli, and also, I mean, like, probably.
Yeah, he had now they made it into a hotel and stuff like that. And also, there's a small detail. There's a small detail that he wears those badges like in his shirt. Yeah, I think that's something to do with Zamin only. Yeah. So he's still, I'm still a Zamin and stuff. It totally translates. Anish was trying to say something, I think.
No, I said the kids acting, like the kids acting is phenomenal for somebody his age.
Yeah.
His expressions, right, and the way he delivers the dialogues. He's just so versatile, and I feel without the dads, the dad acted like a catalyst. Without him, the kids acting wouldn't have stood out the way it has. So yes, definitely. I mean, they were one of the best actors in the movie for me.
Like you can make out
True.
like who's really in charge over here. It's the bacha,
Yeah,
not the
but
dad. The dad is just like the showpiece, because the bacha can't do transactions in real life, so he put the father. Otherwise, the bacha is handling everything. And even the last scene, when Pashupati asks him, "Do you really love your father so much?" He's like, "No, I hate him, but he's
But
my
he's
father."
still my dad.
So, yeah, this
thing, right?
this scene.
Yeah.
But he's my father after all. So I mean,
yeah, pretty cool. And that the scene like that, the god himself came and gave us the money.
yeah.
Katumune, he's pretty manipulative also. That,
Very
like,
manipulative. Very manipulative. Chapter fellow.
Yeah, chapter
But
fellow.
he knows how to play the game from the beginning on.
But then the dad keeps praising him, saying he's my son. That is why he is. He still
That is
thinks.
so obvious. That's his in character only. Like, I'm going to be like that. Yeah, I was telling you about the names, right? Names being animals. Even Kalayan means like bull, and Kodukapalli means like a small dog kind of deal, puppy, that kind of deal. So yeah. This scene. Suspense is mounted like anything. Like, would anybody one of you like trying to? Yeah, tappe means bland in literal terms, meaning bland. He's got nothing to. Like, he doesn't have any character only. So tappe means bland. Yeah. Anybody wants to talk about the suspense built in this scene, or did you not feel the suspense?
No, it was.
So
So
there was suspense, but it was kind of predictable, right? Because it was too early in the movie for
him
like
to
something.
die.
Yeah.
So you could have guessed it.
But I think similar kind of suspense was in this scene also. At least I felt it. Like, I was like, okay, this guy is going to die.
He's going to die. Yeah, but he did.
They're going to kill him and then bury him somewhere in some unknown place. And but yeah, I think this character was important because to keep the movie rolling. Otherwise, it would have been one montage scene after the other. So kudos to this. And one more thing. Actually, when he asked about the flowers, right? The caption said two cricketers' names, I think Gary Flower and Andy Flower.
Andy Flower and Gary Flower, yeah.
Yeah. So in the actual dialogue, it's Prabhu and Kushbu, which are actually actors. So kudos to the translator and over the caption guy, because he kept the basic
the gist of the joke, yeah.
Yeah, just otherwise it wouldn't have made sense. Prabhu and Kushbu means what? So, Pu is the word for flower in Tamil, and Kushbu and Prabhu. Yeah, okay, now let's talk about the chase scene. Pashupati and the Mullu characters chase scene. I felt it kind of reminded me of Guy Ritchie's films, the slow motion thing and stuff.
Yeah. 100%.
100%. So yeah, again, the whole thing about him thinking and stuff, the monologue and stuff, it's classic.
It's like Sherlock. It's like Sherlock,
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie Sherlock. Exactly the Sherlock. This thing, Robert Downey.
Yeah. And I don't know if any one of you heard it. In the background, it was teardrop, I think, for a brief amount of time. The soundtrack from House. It was like boom, boom. I was like, I heard it somewhere. Then I went, oh yeah, House MD. Cool. Okay. Anybody else wants to talk about something? I'll just put on the screen, whatever, the picture. Any random stuff
do you
about?
have a picture of the chase scene in which?
This is the chase, like any
right?
particular.
Like when I spoke about music, so the chase here, like the music had a very non-violent theme. If you have noticed, it had some amount of humor and a lightheartedness to it. So it wasn't a typical this South Indian chase. Again, no offense to speech, but
no, but even then it didn't have any chase. Like the whole movie didn't have music and songs. No, it was only background score through the whole thing, and that was really cool. I thought like they put the right music in the right places to build the mood, but he never used music as a filler. So the whole movie, that was so good. I loved that part, because I get really annoyed if the song is happening totally independently from the movie. I like when it shows some continuity also. Like when we did Chalti Kanam Gadi, that was like, okay, the songs also have context in the movie. It's not totally separated.
Yeah.
But then this one also, the music was always setting the scene. So that was cool.
And I think like how Anish mentioned, it's not like a typical South Indian movie, because like you have to face it that everybody does have like this particular view of this stereotypical South Indian movie with like supernatural things happening, like people flying from here to there and stuff. And this one didn't have it, which was quite impressive, because I did enjoy how realistic it was, and like how you felt like, okay, this can actually happen. And I can imagine like a random gangster scene happening in real life, people running through the streets and not flying off cars. And it's not only South Indian, it's also Bollywood and like Rohit Shetty.
Even
So,
Hollywood,
like
the chase scene was so normal. There was no parkour and all happening. It was just a normal running scene. That was really cool.
And like I love that they gave us like a view into Pashupati's mind, because like people are simply running. He's running and he's thinking also. He's like, okay, I'm running, and like, what's my game plan? I'm not just going to keep running until I get tired and they catch me and die. So like that was really cool.
That was one thing. Sorry.
Yeah, Ashwin, you can go ahead.
No. So that was one thing, but I loved Pashupati. Even though he was the big hero, he was not he was not immune to emotion. So when he was thinking and doing his plan also, and when the gangsters said that how we are going to kidnap your wife, and he's like, I that's one thing I missed. He was like basically, oh fuck, that my wife. Now what do I do? And this particular scene, even though he's trying to be the boss and trying to boss the kid around, because obviously he's a gundam, that's ingrained into him. Yeah. But as soon as this thing, he feels so bad, like, oh shit, what am I going to do? And this I would like to use as a segue into what I thought the whole film was, like the theme of the whole film. I thought it was, from the beginning to the end, was all about impotency. The film was all about impotency. Yeah, so whether it was Singha Parimal in the beginning, he's actually important, like literally. So whenever anybody said those words or indicated it, he got like the whole, he was enraged. Yeah. He was enraged and everything. And then if you go to Pashupati, first of all, he was important because he couldn't challenge his boss, even though he knew it was the best for his gang. He couldn't protect his wife. He couldn't do it. So he was important in his own right. When you look at the lady, I forgot her name. What's Subbu, yeah. So they are also important because they have nothing. They are, first of all, one guy is a simpleton and the lady is a total mercy of her lover or whatever. Captor. Yeah, her captor. And the bacha and the father are totally important to deal with their fate. He has lost all his money, gambled it away. He has nothing. He's depending on son for everything. The son is important because son is he reaches the edge of success and the father fucks up and loses his rooster, or he dances in front of the gundas and gets beat up and this thing, or he gets kidnapped. Or when the kid knows that the drugs are worth so much, he'll ask for 10,000 rupees. So it's like everybody's important in the film. All 6 of them are important in their own ways. And yeah, one more thing about impotency is like the whole thing that whatever events took place on that day is because of Singha Perumal's impotency. Like again, Subbu trying to run away was because of that. Like she got a chance to cry and somehow lure Sappa into the whole drama deal. And then again, because Pashupati talked about his impotency only, he was going to be killed by Singha Perumal. Again, Kalayan also, during the dance in front of the gangsters, he was like, you are a impotent fellow, you are an impotent fellow. So whatever the connection between all the 3 stories are because of the impotency.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you all if like any one of you all expected that Subbu would turn out in that anticlimax kind of way that she did, because I don't know if it was me, but I never recognized the hints, even if they were dropped throughout the. I didn't see it either. That was the biggest plot twist, and I was like, oh shit, what the hell?
But yeah, I didn't
know.
expect
And
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like especially when like the keys were in, I'm like how dumb are you? How can you leave the keys in and the cupboard open? Are you dumb? Like how the hell? And then I realized when it actually happened, and I was like, oh fuck, God, okay.
So when
Because I mean,
that
like,
silver, sorry, go ahead.
so when the like I wasn't even so as disappointed as I was and as angry as I was when, like, they left the keys in and the cupboard open. But like the tone was set that everyone was just really dumb and doing like really stupid things, like like Kalayan and also like Sapai and Subbu were kind
Yeah.
of dumb in their own way. So I'm like, I honestly like won't even be surprised if this actually happened until like Subbu actually came out and like shot him.
Yeah, but like I had a small indication when that guy's pistol was missing, the silver pistol. So I thought like, acha, these guys must have taken it. And I thought it was this thing, but I didn't see it coming. That was playing at the back of my head, but I didn't see that she would be this thing. I thought he might have taken the pistol or something like that. I didn't think that she was going to be a mastermind at the end of it, and I loved that.
Yeah.
And I still didn't realize that the silver pistol is the one that she stole. I forgot about that scene. That's really cool. Good observation.
Yeah.
In the chat, Leandra said that I found it very fishy when she suddenly seemed infatuated with Sapphire. I didn't find it fishy because I thought she also some like bacha only. So I'm like, bacha, okay, fine. So I didn't
she
see
has
it, but
a very mild, this humble, I don't know, this non-wickedly character throughout the movie until like this scene when like she pulls out the gun.
But
I
that
think
like the
ending
whole-
dialogue. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
That ending dialogue when she says that I'm a woman in a man's world. That was like this particular best thing about being a woman in the man. Like that was like killer dialogue.
Yeah.
Killer.
Killer dialogue. Like even the preceding dialogue, which is like Sappa is a man and everybody is Sappa, meaning every man is like bland guy. At least like she ruled over all of them, right? So like see, no movie is perfect, right? So I found this last monologue pretty like out of place because they didn't have the monologue. But just because of those last two dialogues, I was like, okay, chalo, I'll let it slip because in no other way could this have been there, right?
Yeah.
So perfect, yeah. Diksha was trying to
Totally
say
agree.
something, I think. No. Yeah. And this thing, again, this was a super
I thought she
subversion,
died.
I guess. Yeah? Yeah, correct.
I thought she died.
Subversion again, right? Superb, right? Like in this scene,
The callback,
yeah,
the whole callback to the
auto rickshaw scene. Plus,
No, I thought she would
one
die,
more thing is,
honestly.
yeah, tell me, Anish.
I thought she was going to get run over by a truck.
even I thought.
Yeah, some fate is going to happen.
Anticlimax to an anticlimax.
Yeah. Yeah, one more thing is this is a shout out to his previous film, which is called Urampo. He didn't direct it. He wrote the dialogues for the film. So these two auto rickshaws are from there only because of the poster. It's like son of a gun and stuff like that. So he wanted to put these Easter eggs like in pop culture, right? But still he put it in like a meaningful way, right? Because it's like a callback to the whole thing. So salute to the guy for doing such. Yeah, Leandra says maybe it's just me, but if a woman had been abused, I don't think the first thing she'll want to do is get romantically or otherwise involved with another male. She'll want to escape by hook or crook. Yeah.
So I thought
Might
the
be
opposite.
right.
So I thought that like how Sinku Perimal, I forgot if I'm saying it correctly. Yeah. So I like how he was being like such a bitch to her while like Sapai was being really nice. So like anytime Sinku Perimal beat her up and stuff, Sapai was the one who would come and like console her and take her out for a movie and stuff. So I thought it's very natural that she would fall for him because he was taking care of her in when somebody else is like abusing her so much. So that's like what I thought.
But even this thing about the woman, so the whole movie showed her being basically abused. So she was always like second-class citizen in their world, right? She was only like a possession. She wasn't a woman. And even when he saved her from that accident the first time, he said like, oh look, I saved your life or whatever. So I felt that was a nice call into like the masculine people dominating and I'm your protector. So the whole thing, it was like his whole attitude was like, don't worry, I will protect you. Even though he was a bland, useless fellow, he was this thing was, I will protect you, don't worry. But at the end, when she saved herself from the accident, in the end, it in my head it was a nice circle, because she's like, listen, even though all you men were doing all your nonsense, I was in control of my own life the whole time. I knew what was happening, and I can take care of myself. So that I thought that was a nice, very slightly feminist this thing of her, portrayal of her, because she was at the end that saving herself was like, listen, I don't need the men. I have my shit together, and I had my plan. So everybody in the whole film was subject to fate. If they had not won that rooster fight, they would have this thing. Or if like by chance if he had not got the phone call from the bacha, he would have never saved anybody. But the only person who was in control from start to end was the lady. So I think that was pretty nice also. Like a proper thing, a woman in a man's world.
Okay, so now I'll ask a very important question. So when the movie was playing in front of you, you didn't know that Supu was up to her plan, right? So when you were in the movie, right, who were you rooting for? Like out of like the gangsters, Singa Perumal and Pasupati and Talayan and Kolkapudi, who were you rooting for?
I was always sympathetic to Pashupati because I felt it was a natural transition for him, like to want to branch out and make his own gang or like take over, because he seemed to be the one who had the better head among everybody else. He just seemed a sensible guy who knew what he was doing. I mean, everybody didn't, but he just seemed like somebody who knew what he was doing, and he had a sensible brain. And plus, yeah, there was this emotional air about him, and he was, he had this sympathy, and his the thing with his wife also, right? When he kidnapped his wife, he wasn't that typical gangster who said like, I'm going to do what I want, and let the others go die or something like that. So yeah, for me it was Pashupati.
Yeah, even I felt sympathetic to Pashupati only in the film. I don't know. I just found the film centered, and he was a very pivotal person in the whole film. So especially because I wouldn't have thought this maybe, but the starting half of the film was centered around him. So he seemed like the main character, and that's why I felt attracted to him, even though that the latter half of the movie wasn't. And I really loved I loved the other characters also, and I loved their roles and everything. But I found the movie centered around him. But that's just a personal thing. But the character I loved the most was obviously like my favorite.
Evident. And what about Diksha? Who are you rooting for?
I was rooting for the kid and the dad to die. But apart from that, so I wasn't like really rooting for anybody. I just I kind of expected that Pashupati would eventually, like somehow end up fucking with both Pashupati and Siggu Perumal and become like the sole boss of that area and take over completely. So that's what I thought would happen, and I didn't really feel very sympathetic towards him as such. But yeah, that's what I expected to happen. I just felt sympathetic towards the kid because he needed to get rid of his dad. So
personally, like most of you, I was like rooting for Pashupati and for the kid, both of them. But I tried to understand why that happened, right? And I thought it's because both of them were, doing whatever they were doing, whatever crime or whatever, they were doing it for love, right? So Pashupati was doing it for his wife, and Kodkapuli was doing it for his father, right? So in this world of every man for himself, these two guys are doing something for someone else. That's why we are rooting for them. So I guess that was the message he was going for.
You always root for the underdogs.
Yeah, and
we always root for.
And I thought that like everybody would root for him because he's the only person that they portrayed with emotions. Like Gajendran or Rajendran and Singhu Perumal were literally just very furious people who were angry for no reason and wanted to kill everybody. While like Pashupati, while he like did kill people and stuff, he was also shown like over here on this scene. He like the proper breakdown was shown. Like when he's so frustrated that he can't get the drugs, and the kid is also annoying him, and he's just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, and that human thing was shown, which I think probably made us lean a bit more towards him.
And again, the
Correct.
kid and Pashupati both were just, all their actions in the movie are just reactions to the situation around them. They aren't going forward and doing something on their own. They're just reacting to the scene. And whereas the others, like in the movie, they are just being overly, like Diksha said, they just want to kill everybody.
Yeah.
I like Gajendran and Gajapati also. They were like obviously very side characters, but the
Typical
acting was
dons.
phenomenal and their backstory was lovely.
Yeah.
Having
The
bit
chai
of
shop
it.
backstory with the lady with this thing and all. I love the backstory.
Yeah, and especially
What
like
was the
when Pashupati
backstory?
narrates. Yeah, so Pashupati says that this guy, when he found out there was
Bit
a
of
leak, yeah, a bit of the thumb and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, when Pashupati does the narration of him and whatever, he says when Gajendran, he uses the word madam. Madam in Tamil usually is used for elephants, literally elephants. So when elephants get angry, they like crush people with their foot and right. So in a previous scene, he's killing Mullu, I think. So he literally uses his
Stabs
feet
him.
and stuff. So yeah, so like the characterization is also perfect. Even this face, it's like obviously like angry
Yeah, he
elephant
looks like an
charging. Yeah.
And also the fact that we hate a lot of characters in the movie just reflects that they have done their jobs well, right? You are
Yeah.
meant to hate the villains, and even the dad, he's meant to come out as annoying. So
As-
like, if you find it annoying, it's just like he's done a great job at acting.
So even they are like their names also, na Gajapati and Gajendran. Like elephant is their theme.
Elephant.
Like
Yeah.
it's all a game of animals in it. I love that so much.
Animals.
It was just
And see, this is just my thought. I might be wrong, right? Because in all of these like animal themed names, there was Subbu, Sapper, and Chittu maybe. These three people were not named with animals. So I thought maybe they are domesticated, right? So when you domesticate an animal, you give human names, right? So maybe that is the connection. So
that was a nice thought. Yeah. It makes sense also.
yeah. Okay, chalo. So next, so we went through this. Yeah, I like this scene
This
very much.
room, the lighting.
Yeah, this room is also superb. Correct, monochrome
It
lighting.
doesn't stand out like
Neo-noir.
the typical red line, right? And
Yeah,
and I don't know if it was intentional, but every time the door opens, you see like a gradual change in palette. Like there is sunlight that's coming in, and then the kid leaves, right? And there was a scene in which the dad leaves first, and then they close the door, and then he has this
the door.
intense conversation with Pashupati, and then the door
Yeah.
opens again. So,
Correct.
Yeah.
do you have a picture?
Yeah, this scene, right? The
Even then, so
I
you know
like
who's the
much
real boss. You know who's the
Yeah.
real boss.
And this actor's name is Sampath, right? And I've seen many of his movies, and this is my most favorite acting of his, right? Like this whole he doesn't speak to Kasturi much. He's like everything is all right, right? Fine now. He calls the other underlings and he's like, it's okay. We are back to business now. So very subtle acting, and I like this very much from him. Anybody else wants to talk about the monochrome lighting or something from this room? Else we'll go to the kind of the climax, end of the thing, right? Okay, I'll move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Okay, so in that scene, I was talking about the hair she was tying, right? Here
leaves
she's
her hair.
throwing away the hair club. So I think that was a nice touch. Again, subtlety, symbolism. This movie is full of it. And this movie is also very important for, like, there's a few of black comedies which came out in Tamil after this. Like, before this, it was like kind of taboo. I mean, yeah, true. Subbu is damn cute. Diksha rightly pointed that out. I guess the whole persona of her, like, the soft spoken and whatever, what is that? Whatever, the sleeves are like puffed up sleeves and stuff.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it
God.
gives me.
Exactly, you stole my word. I was going to say that, like the puffed up sleeves of a blouse, like a very, like the kid thingy, but also not. Like, that was
Very
very
innocent, very
Yeah.
innocent, childish kind of this thing. Yeah.
Even her facial expressions in the last scene, they are in stark contrast to like the entire movie initially.
Correct. So it's like many people in the industry were like, this character was miscast. Like she didn't do a pretty Yasmin, the actor's name is. She didn't do a very good job in portraying the character. I am totally opposite to that. Like I feel that she was perfect for the role because she fully sold it out, right? We never even guessed that
We
she's
never
going to
realized.
well, yeah, she's like the fox in sheep's disguise. Like I think in the trailer they say, right, the lamb in wolf's midst, and it's like even the trailer was pretty good. You guys gotta check that out. Whoever hasn't seen that yet, shout out to the trailer. And yeah, so I guess we'll wrap up if there's nothing else to go through. I'll ask the last question. Yeah.
I have a
go.
question.
Yeah, sure.
So, why did you guys think that so this is not like an intellectual question. I don't know the answer. I'm actually asking you. Why did you think that Subbu didn't shoot Pashupati? Like, why didn't she just shoot him? Like, she shot everybody else, and then she just started crying in front of Pashupati. Like, why did she do that?
She had to escape, no? So if she shot somebody, she would die. So what she showed in that scene was that I'm so helpless. I just did what I could, and I'm so sorry, and like let me be or whatever. And I think
But if she just shot Pashupati, she could have still gone now. Like,
no, but she would never got the money then, no? So her thing was like, I have to just go away from here as soon as possible and take the paisa and go. Paisa was in the shop outside, no? So she had to leave.
But it would take 1 second to shoot Pashupati. Like, did she need Pashupati to tell them to give her the money?
I think Pashupati also had police contact. So she would know that Pashupati would have. So Pashupati called the police now. And he said that, listen, I killed everybody. So she was playing Pashupati's emotion. So she told him like, listen, Pashupati told her, go, I will take the blame. And so that was her chance to escape. So she played it.
Because even if she got away with the money and everybody's dead, so naturally she's the only one who escaped. So everybody's going to suspect her and come after her. But now that Pashupati has told her that he's going to take the blame on him. So even though he knows that she shot him, right? So he doesn't know about the money yet. But he knows that she shot, and he figures out the money later. But then, he takes the blame on himself. So she doesn't need to be blamed, and nobody's going to come after her.
I guess it also plays good for Pashupati's character. Like, it's like, hey, I killed these two people, the biggest.
He gets the respect also.
He gets the respect also, and now I am the king of this era.
Yeah, so in this question only there are multiple theories actually. There is a school reviewer in Tamil down south, he's called Bharadwaj Rangan, so he did a bit on this. And he was like, maybe it's that, right? Because he counted the number of bullets and said there are only 5 bullets which she shot. So probably she's playing into Pashupati's emotions. But there is a shot, when she's shooting, she looks at her gun. So there is a theory that maybe she was out of bullets and she couldn't have killed Pashupati anyway. So in the situation, she adapted and she's like, okay, I'm sorry, please help me and stuff. That is also a theory. Again, ambiguity is also kind of nice in these kind of situations, right? So, okay, so let's go for the last question and the most important question according to the trailer and me. Oh, come on. Do you like Rajini or Kamal?
Kamal. Kamal is my.
Okay.
Kamal is my.
Ashwin says Kamal.
Ashwin's easy to hit on. Everybody, please note.
Okay, Anish, what do you feel? I'm asking you really not for sake of joke or anything. Rajini or Kamal?
Anish Vish is basically trying to flirt with us at this point.
Hey, come on. Yeah,
he's using us
go have a chance with
you. And actually uses the line on somebody.
Yeah, practice. You gotta practice before you play.
Okay, so I don't have a particular answer, but then Kamal Hassan is largely overshadowed by Rajini because at least in the South, or at least in Tamil, maybe yes, there is a genuine competition between Kamal and Rajini. But to everybody else, when they look at Tamil cinema or when they look at South movie, it's Rajinikanth, it's nobody else. And so he's always the one who's in the shadows. He's never got the amount of credit that he actually deserves. So maybe true Tamil fans and true movie fans will side with Kamal Hassan, but but to everybody else, it's just like action and drama. And yeah, Rajinikanth, after Robo and all those, he has a lot of Hindi movies also. So he has this pan-India fan following. And Kamal's
Personally,
into politics.
Kamal from me. Yeah. What? Kamal is?
Kamal's into politics, isn't he?
Yeah. Kamal is into politics. Yeah. So anybody, so personally, it's Kamal for me. Like you said, yeah, Rajini has a more pan-India celebration, but Kamal also has Ek Duje Ke Liye, I guess, which is kind of a cult classic. So kind of cancels out. But yeah, Kamal is I'm a Kamal fan. Okay, we get the idea, Diksha. Let's keep it PG-13 for now. Okay,
Nice film,
before
Shreya. I
closing,
love the-
anybody wants to say any remarks about the film?
Yeah, I love the choice of film, and we should do more Tamil cinema, because I would have never picked it up and watched it myself. So like, even if you look at me in quizzes, right, my South cinema is my weakest. Bollywood is also weak of mine, but then South cinema is my weakest this thing. So we should do more Kannada films and
Yeah.
Tamil films, because there's a lot of great
Sure.
stuff happening there also.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
So, like, given my schedule for the past like 2-3 days, week, like I can't tell you how crazy it's been. And yeah, and I actually picked up this movie yesterday and I watched the whole thing in one go. And that's so rare, because before this I was watching Meet Joe Black, and it's a nice movie and I usually like those kind of movies. But I watched it over a week. Okay, so I've literally watched like 20 minutes, because I never get time to watch more than 20 minutes at a time. But yesterday I sat and like after, like, even though the whole day was super sleepy, and like I watched the movie and I didn't sleep, and I watched the whole thing at a stretch, which actually like speaks for the movie. It was really nice, and thank you for like choosing it to
I
discuss.
have another one. I have another South one in mind. So maybe we can do that. Or maybe if I was thinking we should ask if one of the new entrants to the club wants to curate a movie. So
Yeah, we can do
maybe
that.
one of that. Hmm.
Yeah, but just say the name anyway, Anish. Like, what is the
Yeah.
movie?
No, we'll disclose that later, not on this.
Oh, okay, chalo.
Yeah. So I think next week we do an international film, and then
Yeah.
after that we'll do another Indian one the week after. So
But I think next week is also open forum, right?
Yeah.
One per month. Yeah, okay.
oh yeah,
Meaning that-
next week is open for correct.
Did we finish? The Avengers thing is over, right?
Over matlab, we did some nonsense and it was actually nice. Matlab, the discussion wasn't as nonsense as I thought it would be. Everybody was
Yeah.
talking and we had a proper discussion. So I like that. So we'll have to think of some topics for next week.
Did you all watch Black Widow? I was supposed to watch Black Widow, but then this came out, so I watched this.
I haven't watched Marvel films for so long, yeah. Don't even ask me if
Yeah.
I watched some of the famous films, because I haven't.
No, because we
But-
gotta catch up with the series first, WandaVision and stuff. I didn't want to spoil any of that.
I
But Loki seems pretty interesting. Yeah, I want to give that
So
away.
in the beginning, I used to do that. I watched the Avengers and the Iron Man supporting films, and at that time, the only side series going on was the Agents of Shield, and I diligently watched Agents of Shield for like 3 seasons, and then after that, I just couldn't, because there's so much coming out one after the other. It's so hard to keep track.
Hmm.
But
Okay. So
yeah, I think
yeah,
we'll all
chalo.
wind up.
We can end.
Yeah, we'll wind up. Yeah, chalo. A picture, right? First,
Oh yes, picture.
we'll do the
Who's
thing of
taking?
Perumal first. Yeah,
One second. Huh?
Ashwin will have to take off his mustache.
I will also just
No, you should keep it on.
keep what on. Yeah,
Can
I'm
you
not taking
smile?
a- No. I'm just positioning my iPad today so I can take a proper screenshot of.
I can
a
take the
photograph.
screenshot.
No, you take the screenshot. I want to take a photograph of the thing like I usually do. Give me 1 second. I'll take the photograph and then we can take the screenshot. 1 minute. Anish, can you make it full screen or something, or with the poster?
Just present it.
Yeah.
maybe.
Srish, you can go to the first slide.
Yeah.
Go all the way back there.
Cool.
I
Cool.
realize I'm partly Subbu because I have a bindi. I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 guys came up with a get up today. Good, I guess. Yeah. Better than last time, I think. Last time nobody came up with a get up.
Yeah, last time no one was in costume, but
Yeah. Because that was a movie like that. What can we dress up like birds and come? So let's do
We could have a bird sitting on your shoulder or something.
yeah, that would have
Yeah.
been cool. But then, okay, who's taking screenshot?
Okay.
Diksha.
Yep.
Wait, I'll make the face
stop
of the thing.
presenting.
Like,
Do you want to stop presenting, or
no,
like?
no, it's just 4 of us, no? So, oh wait, are Leander and Varun
there's
putting
so
on the
many-
camera?
Yeah, there's-
They're
Yeah.
2 junior also. Leander.
Leander was there, and Varun came a little bit later, but he's gone. Ask Leander.
Yeah,
Leander, do you want to put on a camera? If you can.
Her
if you
camera's
want to.
on, I
Yeah,
think.
just cameras on.
Okay, yeah. So take it. I can't
Okay.
see, but Diksha just tried to do that and take it.
Yep. Okay. Oh, I should probably show my Pashupati. Okay. Smile. Okay, do the E face.
Oh yeah, you guys
I
can
can
do
do
the.
your thing. Done.
Yay!
Okay.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
All right. Great
Thanks,
movie.
guys.
guys.
It was a good talk.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night.
Peace out.
See you guys.
Mm.